Again, it's shameful. It really is. This is a clown show.
Facts.
These are moms and dads. The National Guards are just our citizens who stepped up. So I will do that any day of the week. I take criticism the second I wake up in the morning when I go to bed at night, and I don't care. My job is to protect New Yorkers, and that's one way to do
Okay,
it.
so clearly and obviously you do, because if you didn't, you would not have been freaking out over the guns, right? The so-called long guns, right? You would not have been freaking out over that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second I wake up in the morning when I go to bed at night, and I don't care. My job is to protect New Yorkers, and that's one way to do
Okay,
it.
so clearly and obviously you do, because if you didn't, you would not have been freaking out over the guns, right? The so-called long guns, right? You would not have been freaking out over that.
There's like a circle of that's why last year.
So-called long guns, right? You would not have been freaking out over that.
Facts. Facts.
There's like a circle of that's why last year I inherited from my predecessor and the legislature before. They took the bail laws and watered them down and made it impossible for judges to look at the whole picture of the crime and the person, what they're doing. So I worked hard last year. I held the budget up 1 month late. I wanted to be on time. You can brag about being on time. I was not going to be on time because I had more leverage after April 1st. So last year I held up the budget. I got the changes I needed. Judges now have discretion. They can look at the whole issue. They can look at whether a gun was involved. Was there an order of protection? You have to protect the victims of domestic violence. My mother was a champion for victims of domestic violence.
But there was just a crime on Long Island where body parts were found all over Long Island. They
Wow.
had 4 suspects. They let them go.
Wow.
And now they're out there still. So what?
Crazy, bro. Detestable. Odious. Odious that they got let go. Bro. Yeah. The people that committed that act, the people that committed that act got let go. Crazy, crazy. Woke, like I said this multiple times before. I said this multiple times before. Wokeness is a social malady that needs to be eradicated. Wokeness is a social malady that needs to be eradicated.
But there was just a crime on Long Island where body parts were found all over Long Island. They had 4. But there was just a crime on Long Island where body parts were found all over Long
Wow.
Island. They had 4 suspects. They let them go. And now they're out there
Despicable
still.
act.
So what is the deal here?
Right.
Sounds insane to me.
Craziness. I agree
And now they're
with
out there still.
what
So
Joy
is the
said.
deal here?
It
Sounds
is
insane to me.
despicable what took place.
Yo.
I agree
But
with.
there was just a crime on Long
I
Island
do
where body
agree.
parts were found
I
all
do
over Long
agree
Island. They had
with
4 suspects. They
Joy.
let them go. And now they're out there still. So what is the deal here? Sounds insane to me.
The crime.
Yo, Joy Behar. Wow, Joy. Wow, you're not letting this Democrat get away with her BS.
Yes.
Okay, because that's
Facts.
what Kathy Hochul is doing. She's trying to place blame on everybody else, including the last governor, and instead of putting blame on herself, because apparently she is the one that misunderstands laws of New York and her own law that she set in place when she claims that, hey, I'm giving the judges more discretion
Deflecting.
in regards to whether or not they can set a bail. So therefore, it's not my fault. It's the judge's fault. Okay, because that is what Kathy Hochul is doing. She's trying to place blame on everybody else, including the last governor, and instead of putting blame on
Right.
herself, because apparently she is the one that misunderstands laws of New York and her own law that she set in place when she claims that, hey, I'm giving the judges more discretion in regards to whether or not they can set a bail. So therefore, it's not my fault. It's the judge. When she claims that, hey, I'm giving the judges more discretion in regards to whether or not they can set a bail. So therefore, it's not my fault. It's the judge's fault who needs more training. Except that's not exactly true.
It's becoming clearer to me that we need judges trained in the changes that we made
Hochul amended the laws last year to give judges more discretion when setting bail for eligible offenses.
We shouldn't really blame judges for making release decisions that jeopardize public safety, because that's not part of what they're supposed to do.
Renee Ropak is a researcher with the John Jay College of Criminal Justice, leading a series of studies on bail reform in New York.
New York.
His latest report found that eliminating bail for most misdemeanors did not lead to more repeat offenders, but it did increase recidivism for people facing more serious charges.
For quote-unquote high-risk individuals, we found recidivism increases because of bail reform.
The governor's office told us it's working with the State Office of Court Administration to require judges receive 1 to 6 hours of additional training each year regarding bail, recognizance, and commitment procedures.
The governor is trying to have her cake and eat it too here.
Judge George Grasso is retired from the Queens Supreme Court. He says you can give judges all the training in the world, but it will do little to change their decision-making under the current laws.
When you go to judicial training, I've been to many of them, judges are properly instructed. You cannot consider the dangerousness of the individual.
New York is the only state where judges are not allowed to consider a defendant's danger to public safety when setting bail.
The judge does that analysis, and the person is.
Into many of them, judges are properly instructed. You cannot consider the dangerousness of the individual.
New York is the only state where judges are not allowed to consider a defendant's danger to public safety when setting bail.
The judge does that analysis, and the person is deemed to not be a risk of flight, then just because they're eligible for bail doesn't mean that the judges are then authorized to impose it.
Ariel Reed, an attorney with the Legal Aid Society, explains the state's ban on considering public safety for bail dates back to the 60s and is meant to protect a defendant's innocence until proven guilty.
Governor Hochul's assertion betrays her own sort of misunderstanding of the way the bail laws function.
Crazy stuff. Crazy.
Hi everyone, it's Paris. Vegas is
Horrible.
one of my favorite places. I know everyone.
Not
Wait,
not
let's
laudable.
tell me
Not laudable. Not laudable.
Not allowed to consider a defendant's danger to public safety
Wow.
when setting bail.
The judge does that analysis, and the person is deemed to not be a risk of flight, then just because they're eligible for bail doesn't mean that the judges are
Scary.
authorized to impose it.
Scary.
Ariel Reed, an attorney with the
Truly
Legal Aid Society,
scary.
explains the state's
Truly
ban on considering public
scary.
safety for bail dates back to the 60s and is meant to protect a defendant's innocence until proven guilty.
Governor Hochul's assertion betrays her own sort of misunderstanding of the way the bail laws function.
Now, the governor's office points out that judges can consider a defendant's criminal history, but experts tell me that's still only in the context of if they're considered a flight risk. A spokesperson for the New York Court Office of Administration saying they're working with the governor to continue trainings for judges. Dick and Dana.
Crime that was wrong was not what was bail eligible. Yes, murder is. Yes, conspiracy to commit murder is. Yes, assault is bail eligible. All those are. I know that the DA is working really hard with the Suffolk County Police Department to build the case they need to bring the charges that are necessary. The charges he brought, he did not have enough evidence at time to
You
hold
can't
it.
hold them?
Not on the charges he brought. But those are low-level charges.
Wild.
And we can work to make those bail eligible in the next session.
Sad.
But I changed the law. It only went into effect last May, by the way. So we've had a real drop in recidivism since I've been governor. Everyone talked about this, down 45%.
This whole thing, so there you have it, right? Joy Behar, who's probably scared to death, and I don't blame her because again, this is what they do. They worry about the crime, okay, when they think it's going to affect them, okay? I mean, because these people are rich. When you got these murderers walking around, okay, all of a sudden, they can't help but confront the governor on the fact that, hey, this really don't make sense, right? This doesn't make sense at all to have alleged murderers running around the city, right? When they're suspected of committing that type of crime.
Vile,
But,
callous.
Kathy Hochul's excuse is that, well, they were charged with, crimes that aren't bail eligible, so it's not my fault. Even though she could attempt to repeal the bail reform law of 2019, okay, that she blames as the reason why we have this in the first place, okay? She blamed her predecessor, but she's not doing everything in her power to get rid of that law, right? To reform the law so that it's not on the books anymore. Because that's what they should do. They actually really should just get rid of it. Okay, but she won't do that, and she's not taking responsibility for her state that is experiencing a crime crisis. I don't care what these people say. I don't care what statistics they throw out there. Because again, we've seen this playbook from Democrats before, right? Where they will lie to your face and say, "Oh, well, inflation's down." Inflation's not down, right? Okay, crime is not down. Okay, yeah, if you're not arresting people, okay, if you're not reporting crime, then yeah, it's gonna seem like crime is down. But again, if you actually ask the people, how do the people feel about the current state of the city, and the state itself, they're gonna tell you, no, we feel unsafe. We feel like crime is up. Okay, crime is more out of control than ever. We're afraid. We're scared. Okay, we have little murderers roaming free on the streets, even though they've been suspected of committing that type of violent act. Okay, so there you even have people like Joy Behar, who's afraid. But despite being afraid and despite knowing the policies from Democrats that are allowing this type of chaos and destruction, she's still going to come out here and vote Democrat, right? And she'll.
Wow.
They've been suspected of committing that type of violent act. Okay, so there you even have people like Joy Behar, who's afraid. But despite being afraid and despite knowing the policies from Democrats that are allowing this type of chaos and destruction, she's still going to come out here and vote Democrat, right? And shield for Democrats. It really blows my mind how these people line up and support this party that is severely lacking common sense. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, DCP cooked. That guy, DCP spoke facts. He really did. Yeah. The wokies, the woke political figures, the woke political figures, the woke political figures, the woke political figures do not prioritize safety of the residents of their cities. They prioritize wokeness. It is to be execrated, despised. It is to be despised, execrated, hated. That leads to more tragedies, more trauma, more it leads to more BS, to more pain. It leads to more pain. Crazy, sad. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. It is a shame. It really is. It really is a shame that wokeness is prioritized over safety, bro. It is a real shame. It is a real shame. Straight up. The people that plan to relocate, salute to the logical people, because yeah, it is too crazy. Yeah. You have to worry every day. You have to worry every day about getting hurt, shot, stabbed, deleted. Crazy, bro. That negative stress is not good for anybody anybody's health. The negative stress is not good for anybody's health. Straight up. Peace.